We have to replace ourselves in ministry. As Ephesians 4 says, that our job is equipping the saints for ministry. As leaders in the church, we have to learn how to replace ourselves because oftentimes we get into this mindset of we have to possess, we have to take advantage, this is my ministry, this is my thing that I'm doing. And sometimes as clergy, we fall into that with our parish. This is my little kingdom. And we are so unintentional so often with this is how we act, as Jesus said, that oftentimes we can see the splinter in our brother's eye without realizing the wooden beam in our own. And it's unintentional, but we all do this. We all have those blind spots in our life, and especially in ministry, which can be so destructive for a parish, a ministry, whatever it is that we're involved in. It goes from the very top of the parish as a pastor down to the lowliest volunteer in our community. But we have to get past this idea that it's mine. And we have to recognize when we fall into these tendencies ourselves. So as we begin 2026, I want to invite us into a new way of thinking about ministry, about this year, replacing yourself in ministry, whatever it is, building up the next person to take your place. Not to kick you out of ministry, but rather to expand the ministry that God has called all of us to. As he said to St. Paul to go out, and then St. Paul then sent other people to go out. He didn't do all himself, but rather he kept multiplying himself, and that's what we need to do. But oftentimes, we really don't have a framework to work out of. We think, oh, well, it's Father's problem. He has to find new people in the parish to make an announcement at the pulpit or to do these things in the bulletin, right? We'll find new people, but right now this is mine. And I want to actually invite us into a different way of thinking about it. I want to give you a framework as we begin 2026 to think about ministry a little bit different. And that is with an acronym of FACT. FACT stands for faithful, available, contagious, and teachable. Faithful, available, contagious, and teachable. Faithful meaning that they are faith-filled, that they believe in Jesus, and in the ministry as well, that when ministry gets difficult, that they're not going to run away, right? That they're faithful to that ministry. Second is available. Sometimes we think, well, the most busy people are the least available. Oftentimes it's wrong. We're not looking for just the person who has nothing to do, because oftentimes there's a reason that they have nothing to do, right? Because they are not who we're looking for in the leadership roles of ministry in the church, but rather sometimes the busiest people, some of the busiest people I know are the most available for the ministry that they're called to because they recognize that God is there and they're going to find time. They're available. So faithful, available, contagious is a third, C, contagious, that your personality, people want to be around you, that they love Jesus and people know that they love Jesus. Oftentimes ministry flourishes when the leader is somebody who can draw others to themselves. So finding that person who has a contagious personality to draw others to them in the work of ministry. And then finally is T, is teachable. If they aren't humble, if the person isn't humble and recognize that they don't know everything, they're not teachable to learn new things, then you don't want them. So if they are faithful, available, contagious, and teachable, that's what we're looking for for somebody. So if you're looking for somebody to replace you in ministry, think around those lines: faithful, available, contagious, and teachable when you're looking for that person. Which means that this doesn't come from a pulpit announcement at the end of Mass or a bulletin article. And I'm going to be very edgy and I'm going to be kind of contentious probably when I say this, but if all you want is a warm body, then go ahead. Make the pulpit announcement, put it in the bulletin, but that's all you're going to get. You are just going to get a warm body. 99% of the time, it's not going to be the person that you need or that you want or the ministry or the parish is in need of, because you're not identifying the gifts of the person whom you're trying to get, but you're just trying to fill a warm body. I have so many stories of ministries flourishing because of finding the right person to be in leadership or the right person to be pulled into the ministry. And actually, most recently, the one who I've seen do this so well is my mom. She came to discover the soup kitchen that happens at St. Joseph the Worker in Gary every Saturday morning. The secular Franciscans a run. And so she's gone a couple of times, and then she wanted to be more involved. She wanted to take more ownership in it. So she's taking one Saturday every couple of months. But she can't do it herself. She can't feed 100+ people that come. She can't cook all the food. And so she then started inviting her friends and parishioners at St. Patrick's in Chesterton, her parish. And last month, they had over 25 people come to cook, to serve, and these are people of faith. There are people that are available. They made time. There are people that have contagious personalities that people want to be around. And finally, they're teachable, that they didn't come in with ego, because she knew who to invite. She knew who were the right people. It didn't come from a bulletin announcement or a pulpit announcement, but it came from the personal invitation. I want you to think about in your own ministry. Maybe that's been the case for you as well. You found that you got invited in that way. Somebody whom you trusted said, "Hey, I want you to be a part of this," and they recognize those gifts in you. And so 2026, I want you to replace yourself in ministry. I want you to replace yourself in ministry so you can expand the ministry that God has called you to do, which means you have to identify who it is that has the right gifts. And it doesn't mean you're finding the clone of yourself. It doesn't mean you're trying to find just that same person to replace you, but maybe the ministry is in need of somebody new. Maybe if you can take a mirror and hold it up and look at it truly for what it is, maybe you were the right person 10 or 20 years ago, but today, maybe it's in need of somebody different and different gifts. Take some time and pray on that, to think about what it is, Lord, that you need, or that this ministry needs, or this parish needs, and to send that right person to you. Call upon the Holy Spirit to guide you in discerning that, and invite that person in. Take them under your wing to show them, which means you hand over power. You hand over your leadership to them. It means that it can't be your little kingdom, whether it's a parish or a ministry, but rather you see it's Jesus Christ's kingdom that we're trying to expand and to step into the space where he's called you today. This year of 2026, replace yourself in ministry. God bless.